Hey there, traders. This is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group with your end of day recap for Wednesday. And another interesting day. And S&P, we came in this morning up 25 basis points, up 30 basis points, and basically just could not hold on to the gains. Was something that we talked about in the pre-market trading room. We talked about how I mentioned just a couple minutes before the open. I said you might want to take some gains early on. I said you basically don't need to take off all your positions, but I would take a little bit of gains if you've got something short dated on in terms of options because we just don't. To me, it just this morning I was mentioning that I just don't think we have the momentum right now to kind of start up 25 35 basis points on the open and carry it through to the rest of the day. So we were actually hanging in there for the most part of the day. I just have the S&P chart up, the daily chart. One thing to note here is, we ran into this resistance. We've been talking about this bottom of value. You could also use the 50-day moving average. Either one that you want to use, but the one thing that I really was watching was the bottom of value. We pretty much got up there on Monday, Tuesday. We touched it and kind of fell back from there. And I thought we had a chance to get in it and close in it today, but not so much. It looks like we got there on the highs of the day, but don't want to get back into that value area yet. So I'll give you my market view in 2 minutes. We'll just look at this price action today. Basically around a little bit after 10 o'clock, that was it. And then it was basically just down and to the right, almost a 45-degree angle throughout the session, and closing below value for the day. And then also, if you look at the 1 hour bar, it looks like we're back below value as well. Big value area for the week, but we're back below basically where we were on Tuesday midday. So, this kind of, we'll talk about crude was the major catalyst today. Once crude, the Department of Energy numbers, my thoughts on these, because the Department of Energy numbers were not that bad. If I can find where it is on the Bloomberg, um, let's bring up this screen. We did mention you always have to watch your energy positions going into this number. The numbers were not that bad, just like the numbers, the API numbers that came out at 4:30 yesterday. But the market doesn't like it. The market is looking for, I guess, more of a drawdown than what is appearing here. We had 1 million barrels drawdown. We did have a build in gasoline inventories, but other than that, the markets, the numbers were a drawdown. So, the see, I'm on the 1 hour chart. I guess the selling started prior. No, the selling was basically right at those numbers. And again, if you go to yesterday, 4:30, the API numbers did show a drawdown yesterday too, and the market didn't like that either. It was about the same, about 1 million barrels. So that tells me that there's too much supply. Even though our numbers showed a drawdown of 1 million, it still looks like there's too much supply out there, and the market is looking for further drawdowns. And it's been we were talking about this in the trading room today. Basically, if you go to the hourly bar, you could see this VPOC. Again, this is why we use these indicators. This was as high as we went, and sometimes we take out these levels. Again, why is that purple line important? Again, that's where a lot of buyers and sellers previously met up before. It's a virgin point of control, meaning it was in the value area before, and we never actually touched this. So price likes to get back to here. And then a lot of times hit it and then start to move the other way. Again, it often acts as a magnet, and then we trail away. So man, did we trail away from that? We kind of got the hint. And again, this is something that we've been talking about, is that the energy names and this whole move up in oil, it just something didn't feel right, especially on this last move higher above the 200-day moving average. Oil names were not following at all the move, and many of those days, if you look at XOP and XLE, the two big energy ETFs, those were down on most of the days that oil was going up. So it just kind of told you that the market, the energy companies were not buying the move in oil. and the bottom fell back out of it today. So we just got back into this range basically for about a day, 2 days, and then fell apart. So um, doesn't look so good of course for energy companies. They XLE was down 1.5%, but again failed at that 200-day moving average. Also, XOP also failed pretty hard at that 200-day moving average. So, all in all, IWM held some of the gains today. There's not many energy companies in IWM. It's the biggest weight in the small cap ETF. It's funny. A lot of people just don't look at this stuff. I've actually replied to somebody on Twitter today about the Dow, and they're like, "Wow, it's funny that the Dow is trailing today, and the SPYs are up today." And people don't look at the it's people don't look at the mechanics of the indices themselves. But you can see there's no energy. Energy is not even a 3% weight in IWM and small caps. But just going on to, it's just so funny because the Dow, first of all, is only 30 companies, and just because they quote the Dow all the time on CNBC, it's a very, I would almost call it a dinosaur of an index. Nobody, of all the new ETFs out there, nobody weights an index anymore price weighted. And what does price weighted means? It means whoever has the biggest, the highest price gets the biggest weight. Everybody essentially gets all the same amount of shares. So whoever has the highest price gets the highest weight. So, if one name that is a high price has a bad day, it's going to cause the whole index to go down. That's why it's a very inefficient. That's why nobody uses the Dow. Retail traders will look at the Dow, I guess, but no institutional traders really pay any attention to the Dow. It's a very, very flawed index. Again, only 30 names, so undiversified, and the highest priced names get the biggest weight. So whoever happens to not have the highest price can completely skew the index. And you can see Goldman, 3M, Boeing, IBM. Why are they the biggest weights? Just for the fact that their stock has the highest price. So keep in mind, that's why I really don't look at the charts of the Dow, really don't pay much attention to it whatsoever. So that's that. My market view for the rest of the week, which I said I was going to give you. We've got this French election is going to be on Sunday. I think volatility goes up. We actually structured a trade on the VIX today, just basically a 2-day trade. I think what's going to happen is very similar to what happened last week with going into a 3-day weekend. So if you look at last Tuesday, midday Tuesday, the VIX started to go up and kind of reached a peak right around the end of the weekend, and then we sold off, and it looks like it's starting to head up again. I think the VIX goes higher here until going into the weekend, going into this French vote. Who knows how it could turn out? Could be another Brexit, like a non-event type thing, as well as the election. But still, I think a lot of people probably are not going to want to add a lot of risk going into some unknown event, and I think the VIX drifts higher. Not to say that SPYs are really, the market really sells off, but I think it just kind of keeps a lid on the market. I could talk a little bit about some individual names, but I think it's mainly a macro tape right now. There was a few different interesting trades today. A lot of the trades that we're seeing again are, have earnings implications, so it makes things very cloudy. Again, not my favorite time to really swing trade. So I really don't trade much besides a little bit of day trades here and there on some names. Especially the indices. But if you're trying to trade a lot of risk in this market, uh, good luck. I would say I think you just really we talked about it in last, so I'm going to repeat what I said in last night's video, is that you really want to scale down. I can't tell you what to do. This is just for my trading, but I really scale down my risk. I scale down my position size, and I don't overtrade with earnings. That being said, a lot of the names that reported earnings today, they have been pretty good. So I think once we get through this, I think you just have to be patient. I know that's very hard in trading, but trading and discipline, two of the hardest things to have. But some of the names Of course, ISRG, which is the earnings trade that we put on yesterday. This was a home run that we put on yesterday in the Tribeca trade room. ISRG calls, so awesome trade. We put this on for $1.70, took it off for over $4 today. That's much more than a double. So, but just going through some of the names that reported, CSX is up. Looks like eBay is down. I actually didn't do so well on earnings trades today. I played a little bit of eBay to the long side and a little bit of a short on AXP, so wrong on both of those. So that kind of evens out my earnings plays so far. I went long UNH too, which also was a winner. But the ones that I put on after the close today so far, let's say anything could happen tomorrow, but looks like I'll be 2 for 2 in terms of earnings plays. But so that's about it. I think everything else was just a little bit of weakness. I'm kind of looking at ATBI to the long side to go into earnings, which are on 5.5. Take two looks very strong to me. So I'm also looking for names that may glide or may move higher into their earnings. But so that's it. We'll keep today's video on the short side just because of I think we're going to have a very macro kind of tape going into Thursday and Friday. I expect a lot of chop and I expect volatility to increase going into this weekend with the French election coming on Sunday. Thanks for watching the video and have a great night.